Peace and blessings, Alafia. Welcome. Bienvenue. Inakusha inakabo. Vina don't count for listen to me channel. Agladi not to come Agladi. Yes, peace and blessings. We don't have an ancestor today. We're gonna get back with the ancestors in April. April we'll have a lot more ancestors born in April. Today, however, we're gonna talk about the Anken Ma'at of Geb. If we remember the Assyrian metaphorian, we know that Geb represents the Father Earth. The densification of matter. It's your physical being. Okay? Now, what's the deal with veganism? What's the deal with organic eating? What's the deal with that type of flexing? That's what we're going to be talking about. Once again, we're broadcasting from the 416-647, the T-Dot, and we're live, and we're thankful that everybody is here tuning in. This is just a reflection piece. I know everybody is on a different life path along the way in terms of nutrition, but it's a reflection piece for you to carry within your spirit, evaluate, reevaluate, meditate upon, and in future, if you desire to act upon, if you will it to manifest. So we have the Ankh right here, which represents life. We have the pyramid, which is the connection between heaven and earth. That's the tool which we use to, when we transition in ancient Kemet, to point towards the Sirius star, the Orion constellation and the Sirius star, from which we were emerging from, which represented the divine faculties within our spirit and the Netaru. So I will you a peaceful understanding of what the message I'm going to convey. We also have the Ben-Bens, which were very big in ancient Kemet. They represented the connection between Father Geb and Mother Nut, right? As well as the pyramids. This was the actually missing 14th piece of Osir, which was his phallus, which remember in the story, we said was eaten by the Nile catfish, and therefore was replaced by this everlasting symbol of male virility, which in many African civilizations we have these. And the one which they stole, lots of them took it to Rome, was the Ethiopian one. They gave it back. But they have other ones in different parts of Europe, which were the ancient Egyptian ones, which they broke down and took because they were so meaningful and so artistically sound that they had to do that and could not create it themselves. So, the Ben fell down, came back up. The Anken Ma'at of Geb. Let's be very theoretical. As human beings, we have a long digestive system. The digestive system which we have is long, and it's comparative to in the animal kingdom. We would study the gorillas, the chimpanzees, and other animals of that nature. When we look at the animals with a long digestive system, we see that they need fiber in order for them to have a sufficient diet, to maximize what they're eating, right? So when we look at animal protein, meats and fishes, etc., we see that there's no protein, there's no fiber content in there. Fiber is the key word which we need when we have a long digestive system to circulate the food, get it out of the system as quick as possible, and not have it putrefy to cause later on things like colon cancer, which is an affliction more in the West than in countries where they have lesser of a animal protein diet. So this is some of the key factors when we're studying Ma'at, the interrelationship between our digestive system and the food that it eats. That's a key factor that promotes a high vegetarian, fruit-based diet, plant-based eating. Even if you're going to eat some meat sporadically every once in a while, you definitely need to reduce it. I'm glad that the Canada Food Guide, even the Canada Food Guides, have started to recognize that there are much more useful plant proteins than animal proteins which can be used. And the good thing about the plant proteins is that lots of them also have fiber. So you can digest them more easily than you would a stiff carcass without any fiber in your diet. Very, very, very deep understanding, which lots of people came about even back in the days of hip-hop. KRS-One was leading us about not eating beef. He's been a vegetarian for a very long time. Dead Prez as well, shout out. People like Chris Paul, Venus Williams, people who have transitioned to a plant-based way of living. Now, this is one of the key factors. Another key factor when we study Ma'at is we notice that we don't have fangs. We don't have fangs in our mouth. In other words, unlike the carnivores out there, like the lions, tigers, saber-toothed tiger, the cheetahs, the leopards, we're never going to go and bite the behind of a cow or an antelope and tear off their hide or choke them with our teeth. It's not going to happen. Instead, we're gonna become, well, basically what we are. Lots of people are not carnivores, even though they say that they're scavengers, because they're definitely not eating any live animals. And the animals that eat dead animals is called scavengers, the hyenas and stuff, like the laughing hyenas. They eat the dead animals. The vultures, they're scavengers. So we're eating dead animals. We're not eating them raw, of course, because of all the bacteria and stuff which we'll need to process in our system. We're cooking them up, right? And then we're spicing them up and seasoning them up to have them taste a little more like a plant than an animal, right? So these are things we do. We got to think about this, reason about this. Because some people think that I really left that meat eating diet because I didn't like meat, and I tell them it has nothing to do with what I like or what I don't like. I mean, I enjoyed meat. Growing up, I even enjoyed trotters. They were salty. They were savory. They were something I was used to. But once I came to the knowledge that they weren't, the maximization of my digestive system wasn't being done through them, then I reduced my intake, and I found some better results as I reduced it. So eventually I stopped completely. So I encourage you to, even if you're not going fully vegan, to take some days of the week of the year, circle them in your calendar, and fast from eating meat. Fast from eating chicken, fish, whatever, poultry, and see how you feel, because at the end of the day, it's about your personal experience. Once again, we're looking at the ma'at piece, very logical. We do not have fangs, so we cannot run around and catch an antelope or zebra with our teeth and massacre it and chew it up. If we did that, we would die. Probably, first of all, you would kick out all our teeth, and then when we try to chew it and eat it, we wouldn't be able to even pierce its hide. It wouldn't be possible because our teeth are not made in that way. Okay, so we need to look at that. That is reasonable? That's logical. That's scientific. We are not put out there by creators to run after animals, catch them with our teeth, and strangle them, their jugulars, with our mouth, and then eat them. These hands are berry picking hands. We pick berries very well. We pick mangoes. We pick fruits off of trees. We eat them. We eat them raw. We eat them. We even eat the skin. That's no problem. That's fiber. So we need to look at it from a very logical foundation. Then we go into the fact that we don't have claws. We don't have claws. Animals that are naturally carnivorous, they have long claws. They scratch you. They can scratch your face off. That's the type of thing they can do. So that's not what we have. We don't have those claws to run around, chase an animal, claw it to death. I mean, if you try to scratch a cow, it'll just laugh at you. The cow would say, "Ha ha ha ha! I had an itch. Now it's gone." So that's what we need to think about. We need to think about those things. I mean, of course, the little animals like the chickens and stuff like that, it'll be easier for you to catch and kill them. But still, you're not gonna bite its neck off and chew on its feathers. That's not something you would do, right? That's something very unnatural. And if you did that, you probably would be interned in a mental institution somewhere. So let's think about these things. Let's think about these things, and let's reason. Let's reason, because the Ankan Ma'at of Geb is a reasoning truth, not an emotional truth. Because the reason why we're attached to the carnivorous diet is because we are emotional eaters. We eat based on, it tastes good. I'm used to it. The ham hocks my mom used to make take me back to my memories. We got to even think about the enslavement diet. It's even worse than just meat eating, because they were giving you all the refuse, all the parts of the animal that they were throwing away in enslavement days. They would give you, the chicken foot. They would give you the trotter. They would give you, the gizzard, the this, the that. They would give you the parts of the animal that they wouldn't be eating. So that's even getting to the higher level of that Onk ema tem. That tem ma'at forget. Okay, so we don't have claws. We don't have fangs. We have a long digestive system that is more productive with high fiber foods. And this is the determination that we should basically have a mostly plant-based diet. I mean, we can every once in a while, even in African societies, sometimes people would eat meat, maybe once a week, eat fish, but they would have a largely plant-based diet and based on the fiber intake. Even if you go to the Ontario Science Center, they have a displays of the bowel movements of Africans compared to the bowel movement of Europeans and the frequency of bowel movements. And you see that a big thing which is happening and causing lots of diseases is constipation. Constipation because you have no fiber, you're eating starch, not the natural whole wheat with the brown stuff, but the white stuff which is being depleted of all its fiber content, so it tastes more palatable to the Western mouth. And that stuff constipates you as well as the meat and the fish. So you're eating steak and potatoes. That's what you're eating, steak and potatoes. No nutrition, no fiber, nothing in there. So you're constipated, and colon cancer is one of the number one, or the number one cancer which you are getting. We need to think about these things. We're not judging anybody. We're just observing facts, details, logical conclusions can be made from what I'm saying. The mitigating factors for a vegan diet are there. There's also factors about the cruelty towards animals, which is becoming more and more prevalent in the way in which the animals are being treated in this society, the way in which they've been mistreated. Right? We say that you can judge society by how it treats those who are the most vulnerable. Right? The animals. I mean, are you going to treat them well? At least if you're going to kill them, give them an honorable way to die, or you're gonna just torture them and then cut their heads off, fill them full of diseases. Nowadays, there's lots of cancers, even in the food stream, and they're transmitting those diseases from the food stream to the human stream. Lots of the viruses, like the bird flu, the mad cow disease, these were all based on animal viruses that came to humans because of the unnatural treatment of those animals. So this is another mitigating factor behind the vegan movement. And when I talk about the vegan movement, people think about white people eating, salads, raw carrots and crunching on a celery like a rabbit in the park, kumbaya, hippie type stuff. That's not what I mean as an African man. I'm eating my cassava leaves. I'm eating my okra stew. I'm eating, my kalaloo, my aki, all these different things, and noticing that the main ingredients in these things are the plants. So we can remove those animal proteins easily, replace them with things like mushrooms, organic tofu, whether it be beans, and a whole variety of other items, legumes and nuts, which are good quality, high quality proteins. And then we'll have similar taste and texture. We can make a similar texture, especially with tofu and mushrooms, and similar seasoning. I know also that the fishy taste is also equivalent to the seaweed. Seaweed was one of the main nutritions in places like Japan, who have, according to records that are kept, the longest living people nowadays are in Japan. They do eat some fish and stuff like that, but their diet is based a lot on non-fried foods and also lots of vegetables and fruits. Okay, and that's to say that that's recorded people, because you go to the village and you see people eating very nutritious, healthy, plant-based diets, and they don't record them necessarily. A grandmother goes to the village and eats the vegetation for the rest of her life, lives to 120. She might not be on the records, but so be it. So it be, so it will be. On the records, vegetarians are known to live maybe 10 years more, at least, than people who have more animal-based diets. They're mitigating factors, like I said, they're logical factors, they're reasons where people go, and we got to stop having that stereotype of that kumbaya, bleeding heart, white liberal, vegan. Black people, more African people are going to this movement. They're caring about their health. They want to be vital. They want to be vital, and they say that the panacea to life is vitality and youthfulness in your old age, and that's all what we're trying to get. Not to be old people who are all depleted, lying on a bed, suffering immensely, waiting to die, but people who are getting things done, like I talked about Massinista last time, who is a vegetarian as well, riding his horse to battle even at the age of 90. So that's basically some of the information about the Onken Ma'at of Geb. We studied logically the interrelationship between you, the food, and your digestive system, your makeup, how it enables you to be more healthy by having a vegan diet, and we established some of the facts based on logic, not based on emotions. So let's get into this. Let's start fasting if we're going to fast. Every once in a while from our carcass, our meat eating. Let's not judge ourselves. Let's see how it works. Let's move on, because we got to realize that a higher nutrition and a healthy geb can create more clarity and can create more welfare for you. Because when you want to do what's right at the crossroads, if you're devitalized, then there's less potential for you to have the necessary tools to do that. Once again, that's the word on veganism. Don't fall for the stereotype. It's not a bunch of anemic white liberals who are hippies, who are malnutritioned. Myself, I am of a regular weight, even a good sustainable weight. Good health and longevity is not about being obese. It's about being, the right, having the right amount of nutrients, staying healthy and staying active. I mean, of course, the longevity piece is not only the diet. It's also main thing is being able not to indulge in stress, knowing that stress is not in the things which you perceive it to be, but stress is in your reaction to those things. So you can work on reducing and eliminating stress from your life through alchemical practices. Stress Free for Life is a great book by Shechem Around for a Man that you can refer to and work on reducing or eliminating stress completely, because people who live long also are not indulgent in stress, because stress is the number one killer. Colon cancer is high too, but if you add stress to colon cancer, you're going to die even quicker. If you add stress to any cancer, add stress to any disease that you have, heart disease, diabetes, whatever it might be, the stress is going to double it, triple it, and it's going to be the factor that's going to differentiate between you living and you dying. So let's try to eliminate stress, work on it. I know it takes a while, because we've been in this society, we've been programmed to perceive stress is natural and stress is external, rather than understanding that we have the possibility to place mind over matter. Mind over matter. Nothing in itself is a quality of being stressful. We have a stress reaction to those things based on our conditions and our spiritual work and our training, spiritual training. Okay, so the Onken Ma'at of Geb for today, the word is veganism is not white, it's not European. Plant-based diets have been around since ancient Kemet. The high priest had a plant-based diet, and plant-based diets are the healthy diets in order to maximize your temple. You've got to treat your body as your temple, because the body is the temple. As Imhotep was saying, our body is our temple, and we have got to use nutrition. Our main nutrition is our nutrition. Our main medication needs to be our nutrition. Nutrition is medication. Medication is nutrition. Herbs, remedies, fruits, vegetables. Let's use them to heal ourselves, keep ourselves healthy, live strong and long lives, and fulfill our ultimate divine destinies. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to add on. We'll continue pushing truth as much as we can, and we wish you a peaceful evening. Keru Nefer, Lala Salama, Bonne nuit, Buenas noches, Buona notte. ina kushe, ina good net. Until next time, stay in the light of your divinity, live truth, and increase your frequency by having a more plant-based diet. Peace and blessings. Ashe.